Hello everyone, I'm Ling and welcome to the first special of Coffee with BlueOC. Today we will very excited to have two wonderful guests come from Top Hat who have been spending a week in here in Vietnam and with along the side with BlueOC team. Welcome.
Hello, good to be here.
And can you shortly introduce about yourself and your title at Top Hat?
Sure. I'm Keller. I've been with Top Hat for 5 years. I'm an engineering manager of both the ABCI team with Morgan and the core backend team.
Hi, thank you for having us. I'm Morgan. I am a product manager on the ABCI team as well. And we work on the accounts, billings, courses, and integration side of the business.
Yeah. So in Vietnam, we have the idioms say that miếng trầu làm đầu câu chuyện. So we will start the conversations with very special thing in here. And today we have Vietnamese coffee. So you guys can try it and tell me about the Vietnamese coffee. So how is it taste?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's delicious. It has that perfect balance of bitterness and sweetness that you want from a coffee.
Yeah, so Vietnamese coffee is something we really proud of, and great to know you guys can enjoy it. So, can you guys describe you in a movie or a television title? Which would it be and why?
Interesting. I think I'd have to say Mythbusters might be like the way I describe my philosophy and work. So I think being an engineering manager, my job is to sort of find out what's going on, run experiments, and sort of do the science before the team has to do the hard work of implementing. So I think yeah, that's the way I sort of see myself.
That's a hard question, but I think I would describe my role a little bit like the TV show The Bear, which is about a small group of people who are trying to run a restaurant and also have a good time at the same time. There's a lot more yelling in the show. We don't yell on our team, but I see us as very similar because the engineers are the cooks in the back, heads down, making the delicious meals that the customers will enjoy. And I am trying to manage restaurant reviews coming in, customers having complaints, and trying to figure out how to be the best restaurant we can be, what food we should make, what order it should be made in, and how to make sure nobody burns out at the same time as things are breaking and the restaurant continues growing.
Yes, so interesting. And so each of you guys will have a different career path and different experience. So can I ask what is the most interesting or the most remarkable story or lesson you guys can learn from your journey?
My lesson, I think I learned early on, and I'm still learning to implement it, but it's that asking questions doesn't mean that you don't know what you're talking about or that it's showing a weakness. It actually displays that you wanted a deep understanding of what you're working on and the questions you're being asked and the perspectives that are coming in to you. Early on, I would take something someone would tell me or someone would tell me to do, and I would either just try to do it, or if I had questions, I would figure it out by myself after. And that doesn't help you understand things deeper. But asking questions to people shows that you're curious and you want a strong understanding of their perspectives and the details of what they're asking you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, saying no. So early on in my career, I would just say yes to any ask I would get from my boss, and you end up being overloaded, way too many responsibilities. You don't get anything done. So I've had to learn sort of, and I keep learning through my career, polite ways to say no, to say not now, to delegate, to escalate. So I think that's the journey I'm on, is learning how to work on the things that matter most by learning how to say no to the things that perhaps don't need to be done right now.
Yeah, I know. So the job story is about proactive learning and try to ask questions. Uh, don't be asked in the case that someone push you through. Yeah, so I kind of into that situations because I'm the fresher in this industry and I always need to learn new kind of technology and new knowledge. And there's some serious questions I need to ask everyone, and I also try to be proactive to every single part of in this tech industry. And so also I also learned how to make the right order to every task because they have different priority. Let's move on to the part two. We will explore the topic about how to build the team across border. So the first question I want to ask you, Kai, is from your perspective, what is the most difficult thing to when you work across the border?
Most important thing when you work across the border, I think it's I want to say communication, but I think that's pretty obvious. But I think the camaraderie is another really important thing when you're working across borders. A lot of hard engineering is built on failure, on making mistakes, on building things that people haven't built before. It's hard. And so I think it's the interpersonal skills, working with people, knowing them, knowing that they'll take criticism or that they'll provide you criticism openly and honestly. I think that's really important. Um, I think, yeah.
Yeah, the camaraderie is really important so that you feel safe voicing your opinions and also getting challenges from other people to know it's not personal. I'd also add that it's important to have all of your conversations and decisions documented so that if somebody isn't working at the same time as you and they come online later, they can catch up with what's happened the previous day and they know why and they have all of the context so that they can either ask questions if they need something or they can jump right into what they need to know and there's no delays. But having things be documented allows the conversations to continue smoothly and not stall, and that you can make sure that everyone's on the same page, even if you're not working the exact same hours.
Yeah. So I understand the difficult thing in here is you need to put yourself in their shoes. That's right. So you need to prepare the documents and the like the conversations before they can read it and execute in next day because we're working in their different hour. So I think the time zone is something that difficult when we work globally and with international teams. Yeah, we talking about the difficult things when we work across the border. So I want to ask, what is the most valuable things when you can gain from the international teams when you work with each other?
Sure. I think the biggest thing, and this is something we really pride ourselves on, is just the like difference of thoughts and opinions of what's going on. So I think any good company knows that no single person has a really great answer for what the market's looking for what the customer wants, for how to solve a particular issue that somebody might have. And I think having a variety of opinions and life experiences dramatically improves the product overall. Um,
Yeah, I would echo the same. Having multiple perspectives, whether it's from the role and responsibilities that you have or your work experience or life experience, um, they bring a lot of value to your team and your perspective. And I think it's important to remember to be curious about others' opinions and to ask why and to feel safe in asking those questions too when you don't quite understand something. A lot of my team is very technical, and I am not as technical as them. So there's many topics that I don't have the same level of understanding in, but I still need to have some context or a base level understanding of why we're making the decisions we are or the risks if we build something a certain way, because the questions will come back to me eventually. So putting yourself in the position to ask the questions that you need to in order to have a really good understanding of why we're doing what we're doing and how. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of understanding that different people working with different people will bring us different perspective, and you guys can learn from both the academic knowledge, technical knowledge, or either the how to collaborations between different people. So we continue to talking about the working across border, working with international team where your teammates is come from different country from the world. So Top Hat is working with BlueOC, and especially you guys spend a week alongside BlueOC team in here. So how do you feel about the atmosphere in the BlueOC office, and you feel about the BlueOC teammate working with you?
Yeah, I think the office is so warm and friendly. When you walk in, there's already people smiling at you and also working hard and having conversations. You can tell that it's a very intelligent group and also friendly. We've gone out for lunch every day with our group and to different places every day too, and had some really fun conversations that we wouldn't have got to have if we stayed in Canada and, worked from home. And it's been really special getting to know people outside of work meetings and hearing about their lives. And I think ultimately it's made us stronger, I hope, following from this, just because we know each other better. But also, people from outside the team are always coming up to introduce themselves and talk to us. Like, all of BlueOC is friendly, and it makes me feel like it's the right group to work with.
Yeah, I think so. Two memorable experiences I've had. We're working on a pretty difficult project right now with two different teams, and being in the office with BlueOC, watching them sort of work together, immediately get up, have a meeting, like figure out a solution to the problem. It was absolutely exciting to see. And sort of in that same vein of like collaborative competition, also after work playing ping pong with the team, just being invited over to like hang out, relax, like, spend the rest of your day just play a friendly game together. I think it's a great sign that everybody is really um, sort of one team, like one voice type thing, where everybody really feels passionate about the work they're working on and the coworkers they work with. So it's very exciting working here.
Yeah, so I also agree with the perspective that the most difficult thing when we work in a team is to get to know each other perspective, and we need to connect all the personal in the team. So our Vietnamese culture, and I also hear from other my international friends. They say that the most impressive thing to Vietnamese people is their hospitality. Yeah, and we're kind of proud of it, and I think that so happy when you can enjoy our country and the atmosphere in the BOC office, and it's great to know that other people also try to connect with you guys and introduce about some activities we have. Um, yeah, so about the workings, about the whole process and the project. When you work with Vietnamese engineer, do you see something that they really different from others you have met before, or have they have something that stood out to like very impressive to you?
It's an interesting one. I think when it comes to the individual engineer, it's very much depends on the person. I think the thing that's really impressed me most at BlueOC is the degree of difference individual engineers will have. So we have some people on the team that are like very caring about particular things, some very technically minded, some very like personable and like introspective. And I think it's at least on the ABCI team here at BlueOC, the that degree of difference in individuals that bring together the best out of each other, that find sort of the best path forward on all issues. I think that's been really exciting to see from the Blue OC team.
Um, I've only worked with BlueOC engineers. I've been very lucky in that, but I think in all of our conversations, what strikes me is that the care and the thought before speaking or asking a question, they really consider what they're asking, what they want to know, how to word it correctly to illustrate what they're trying to get at. They're very thoughtful in their communication, as opposed to somebody who might just be spitting up. No, no, no. Who might just talk a lot or ask you 10 questions and you're not sure which is the most important one. I always feel like there's a lot of thoughtfulness in our conversations and in the responses and questions that I receive from them. it makes me want to be a more thoughtful communicator as well.
Yeah, it's very happy when you can know that you guys have the wonderful collaborations with BlueOC teams, and we will also we have the good like communication to each other. That's the most important thing when we need to work on a project, and yeah, so I think that's all sharing is really valuable for the topic today with Vietnamese coffee. So we will like the cheers like this, and we will look at the camera. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Cheers.